Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. SCOM licensing is not optional, and it's not just paperwork. SCOM licensing decides how many systems you're legally allowed to monitor, not how many you want to monitor, how many Microsoft says you can. Licensing directly impacts cost, scalability, and compliance. Get it right, and life is peaceful. Get it wrong, and suddenly finance, audit, and procurement all want to talk to you at the same time. The biggest mistake I see: people treat licensing as something to figure out after installation. That's like designing a building and later asking how many floors you're allowed to have. Understand licensing early, and you avoid redesign, rework, and budget surprises later. SCOM keeps it simple. There are 2 main editions. And no, this is not about small company versus big company. Each edition is designed for different infrastructure sizes and densities. If you choose the wrong edition, you don't get extra features. You just get a bigger bill. The key thing to remember is this: edition choice depends on server density, not company size. A small startup with heavy virtualization might need Datacenter, while a large enterprise with standalone servers might be fine with standard. So forget employee count. Think servers, cores, and virtualization. Let's talk about SCOM Standard Edition, the lightweight, sensible option. This edition is designed for low to medium density environments. It's licensed per 2 physical cores, and it works best when servers are either standalone or lightly virtualized. Think of Standard Edition like renting apartments. If each server hosts just a few workloads, it's cost-effective and clean. But, and this is important, if you start stacking lots of VMs on a host, Standard Edition quietly becomes very expensive. It doesn't complain, it just invoices. Use Standard where density is low. That's where it shines. Now meet the heavyweight SCOM Datacenter Edition. This edition is built for high-density virtualization. You license the physical host, covering all cores, and once that's done, you can monitor unlimited virtual machines on that host. This is why Datacenter is the best choice for Hyper-V and VMware clusters. Think of it like owning the entire building instead of renting apartments. Once you own it, you don't care how many people move in. If your environment is virtualized today, or even if it will be tomorrow, Datacenter usually wins in the long run. Here's where most confusion starts. SCOM licensing is core-based, not per server. SCOM doesn't care how many admins you have. It doesn't care how many people log in. Licenses apply to workloads being monitored, and they're calculated using physical CPU cores. Even in virtual environments, Microsoft always looks underneath, at the physical hardware. That's why virtualization density heavily influences edition choice. As VM counts increase, Datacenter Edition quickly becomes more cost-effective. Bottom line: licensing follows hardware, not feelings. SCOM licensing treats servers and clients very differently, and mixing this up causes instant confusion. Server licensing applies to Windows and Linux servers and is core-based. Client licensing applies to desktops and laptops and uses client management licenses. Here's the simple analogy. Servers are gym equipment. You license based on capacity. Clients are gym members. You license per device. Different models, different rules. Don't mix them, and life stays simple. This slide is critical because Microsoft enforces minimums. Each processor has a minimum of 8 cores. Each server has a minimum of 16 cores, even if it physically has less. Licenses are sold in 2-core packs, which means math becomes part of your job whether you like it or not. And here's the rule people forget. Physical cores always matter, even for VMs. You might assign 2 cores to a VM, but SCOM still counts the host. Virtualization density once again decides your cost. This slide is basically a highlight reel of pain. Mistake number 1, using Standard Edition in dense virtualization. Mistake number 2, forgetting minimum core requirements. Mistake number 3, licensing VMs instead of hosts. Mistake number 4, ignoring future growth plans. Most environments don't break licensing on day 1. They break it 6 months later when someone adds more VMs. SCOM licensing punishes short-term thinking. Plan ahead or pay later. Good news: SCOM licensing can be optimized without breaking rules. Use Datacenter Edition for virtualization clusters. Keep test and production environments separate. Avoid monitoring systems that are powered off or no longer used. And always reassess licenses during hardware refresh cycles. Licensing optimization isn't about cutting corners. It's about alignment. When architecture and licensing match, costs naturally go down. Let's make this real. Imagine 3 hosts. Each host has 2 CPUs, and each CPU has 12 cores. That's 72 physical cores total. In this setup, Datacenter Edition is the clear winner. You license the hosts once and unlock unlimited VM monitoring. If you tried Standard Edition here, every new VM would quietly increase cost. Datacenter keeps pricing predictable, and predictability is what finance loves. Let's answer the questions everyone asks, usually after installation. Do I license management servers? Yes. Does SCOM license per VM? No. Can I mix editions? Yes, but carefully and intentionally. Is licensing audited? Yes. Microsoft has a very good memory. If you know these answers up front, you avoid rework, audits, and awkward meetings. Here's the big picture. SCOM licensing is architecture-driven. Datacenter Edition fits virtualization-heavy setups. Always plan for future growth, not current size. And most importantly, licensing clarity equals cost control. When you design smart and license right, SCOM becomes predictable, scalable, and stress-free. And that's exactly how monitoring should be. Design smart, license right, monitor confidently. Because when your SCOM architecture is aligned from day one, monitoring becomes predictable, scalable, and stress-free. If this helped clear up SCOM licensing, hit subscribe and stay with the channel. More real-world SCOM, VMware, and monitoring deep dives are coming. Thanks for watching.